Today we're going to be looking into a solution that allows you to easily implement pathfinding, flocking, and local avoidance in Unity. This solution is a high-performance package that works well with high entity counts for games built both with and without Unity's entity component system. So you don't need to have any knowledge of Unity's dots or ECS in order to use this package. This solution is called Agents Navigation, and it's available on the Unity Asset Store. I should also mention that this asset is about to get a steep discount of 70% off as part of the spring sale on the Unity Asset Store. Now the spring sale has already started, and I'll leave some links to some of my favorite discounted assets down in the description below. But this asset in particular is going to be a part of a flash deal which starts on May 31st at 8 p.m. Pacific time. So that's this coming Wednesday evening, and it's going to be available for 70% off for a limited time. Now I should mention that this is going to be on sale for one of the very last days of the sale. So make sure you act quickly if you do want to get this at a discount because you're only going to have a short amount of time to do so. So just to give you a quick overview about Agents Navigation, it's an asset created by Lucas Chodo-Savicius, and he's created some other dots assets which are available on the Unity Asset Store as well. And I'll have those linked down in the description as well if you do want to check those out. But anyways, in the past he created a local avoidance asset, which was also known as Project Dawn at one point. And this basically used some essentially sonar sensing that allowed agents to kind of look in front of them and find obstacles and other, dynamic entities and be able to kind of smoothly avoid them. Now, the Agents Navigation package is kind of an evolution of that because you get everything that was part of that original local avoidance package, plus you also get navigation and flocking behavior. Now the Agents Navigation package is really great and easy to use. It integrates extremely well with existing Unity features. So it actually uses both Unity ECS as well as the existing Unity AI navigation package in order to set up all the pathfinding and avoidance. Now this is really nice because you may already be using some of these packages in your project. So in that case, it would be pretty easy to integrate this asset into this project. Now I did mention that this asset is both compatible with and without Unity's entity component system. So you can be using a completely GameObject project, or you can use a completely ECS project, or any combination of anything in between. Then this asset should be fully compatible with it. Now the developer did a lot of really cool things in order to make this work, and I'll be going into a little bit more detail later on. But basically the high level overview of this is if you're using stuff on the GameObject side, then it's going to create an entity representation of that GameObject, and that entity is going to do, all the crazy kind of complex calculations, and it's basically going to send just that end result position over to the front end game object. Now, if everything's over on the ECS side, then there doesn't need to be any of that, additional conversion. So there isn't that, additional overhead of it. But, I'll be showing some performance metrics later, and the performance using just pure game objects is still very good. Okay, so let's jump over to the Unity editor so I can show you a bit about how this is set up. So I'm just in the scene view right here, just so we can kind of move around nice and easily. So you see that basically with this demo, we have these different little objects here, and the players basically can control these, and then these objects can, attack some of the different, say, enemies over here. Now you'll notice that there is kind of a little bit of a nav mesh going on, and this is basically how the units basically do kind of all their navigation and pathfinding and everything like that. It's just kind of, again, the regular built-in Unity AI nav mesh. Now if we look at what's required to get these entities set up, if we look over here in the inspector, we see we have these, zerglings. These are kind of some of the main components that you have with them. Again, this is really nice that there's just these nice little icons next to each of these components. So everything just looks, like really clean, and again, it just feels like it works really well within the editor here. So you can see here are some of the main components. So we have the agent component. This is kind of the base component that every one of these agents is going to have, and we can kind of define some of the different properties which will impact the behavior about how fast it is, what's its acceleration, and everything like that. And we also have an agent cylinder. So this is kind of what works with the nav mesh system, so it knows kind of where it is able to move and not move. Also, if you are using 2D, there is a 2D version of this particular one. The agent sonar avoid, this kind of does the local avoidance. So you can kind of set the radius of basically, how far it can see, how wide its sight angle is, and all that. And then also we have the agent nav mesh. And so this basically, again, hooks into the regular nav mesh system, and if we have any different types of agents, we can kind of all define those within here. Now if we go over here and take a look at the actual level, you see that it basically just has a regular Unity nav mesh surface component on here, and of course we can hit these buttons to say clear and rebake our nav mesh surfaces. So again, the setup is pretty simple. We can just set up things basically just as easily as dropping particular components onto different game objects. So if we actually enter play mode, I'll go over here to the entities hierarchy, and you'll see that if I scroll down, you see that we actually do have now all these entity representations of the different zerglings and enemies and everything like that. So we can say click on these, and we'll see that we do have kind of all the ECS equivalents of the agent body, agent shape, sonar, avoid. So again, we kind of have those front end authoring components which we dropped onto the game object. And then now that game object at runtime is going to generate an entity that has all these actual components, and these are the components that are doing the actual heavy calculations and all that to allow for our very fast and efficient pathfinding. Now the really cool thing is if we have any of those game objects that we're defining the agent body and different components on there and everything like that, we can just drop that game object into a subscene, which again, when we hit the play button and enter runtime, it's going to convert that over to an entity. Then automatically the entity is just going to get all those components that it needs. Again, it just uses that like kind of front end authoring to create the entity and put the necessary components on it. But however, when we do that, it just doesn't generate that front end version of the game object. Everything is on the ECS side in that case. So the ECS setup is just as easy to use as the game object setup, which is fantastic. So here we're going to go ahead and test some performance metrics. This first test that we're going to do is the game object side. So again, these are kind of game objects on the front end, uses ECS on the back end for the heavy calculations. So you can see right now we are at 16.68.67. So this is about 60 frames per second, which is what this display is at right now. This is a 4K display that it's showing on. We got about 3,000 entities. It's still kind of hovering right around that 60 frames a second mark, starting to dip down maybe a little bit as we get close to 4,000 here. Another thing that I should point out is we do kind of have these checkboxes so we can enable and disable different systems. And once the performance starts dipping, I'm going to show you, how much extra performance we can get by disabling some of these systems here. So again, right now we have over 5,000 entities all doing pathfinding, collisions with each other, local avoidance. Again, they're all using the nav mesh and everything like that. So just around 6,500 is when our performance starts to come off of that, 60 frames a second. We're now down to about 30 frames a second at 7,000 entities right now. So, performance is still looking pretty solid. Okay, so I'm starting to see a little bit the frame rate kind of dropping around 8,000. So let's go ahead and disable the local avoidance, because that was definitely the what I've seen is the kind of like biggest draw of performance. So just by disabling that, we have 9,000 entities, around 30 frames a second, kind of hanging around there. Seems to be pretty stable around 30 frames a second. We'll let this go for a little bit longer and see when we need to disable the next thing here. So we're about 11,500, definitely noticeable, kind of lower than 30 frames per second here right now. You see that we're getting about 50 milliseconds frame time, so not exactly what we want. So we'll go ahead and disable colliders. Now this looks a little bit funky because now that the colliders are disabled, they can basically all just kind of collapse on top of each other. But you see that we get a bunch of our performance back, 13,000 entities. We're around 30 frames a second. Again, I'm going to let this go for a little while and see how long we can go until I need to disable the final feature, which is the nav mesh. Okay, so finally around 17,500, frame rate is definitely starting to dip. So let's go ahead and disable the nav mesh now and see if we can get any of that performance back. The nav mesh isn't really all that costly, so we do get maybe a couple frames per second back, but ultimately we're capping out around probably like 18,000 entities at, again, pretty much the high end and everything disabled here. So that's their kind of, again, performance metrics for just the game object side. Now let's go to the fun one, which is the entity side. Okay, so here we are over in the ECS demo. This demo actually did not come with the package itself. This is something that I had to create. Again, it was super easy to integrate with this package. I'm very happy with the experience so far. So we'll go ahead and spawn 10,000 of these guys right off the bat. You can see that I'm doing something a little bit different here. I basically spawned all these entities in a random position, and what they're doing is they're just calculating, all of them are calculating a random destination. Once they reach that random destination, they'll just calculate another random destination. So they're just continually going around the map. Again, we have 10,000 of them, all still having their colliders. They're all doing local avoidance, and they're all using the nav mesh to get around everything. So 10,000 entities, no problem, 60 frames a second. However, unfortunately, I've noticed that performance tanks pretty quick after that. If we go up to 15,000, you'll see that we're already down to like 15 frames a second, which, it is a little bit unfortunate. Maybe even quite a bit less than that, about 10 frames a second is showing now. It wasn't this bad when I was recording or not recording with OBS. So, but anyhow, let's just go ahead and disable the local avoidance here. You can see that at 15,000, we immediately get our 60 frames per second back. So let's push it a little bit. Go ahead and go up to, say, 30,000. Again, these all have collisions. They're all doing nav mesh, and right now we're just a bit under the 30 frames or 60 frames a second mark here. So still very, very good performance with 30,000 entities. Again, all individually doing their own pathfinding and everything here. So let's push it a little bit more. We're up to 40,000. Frame rate's definitely dipping here at 40,000. So I'll go ahead and disable the colliders. So now they're still, all going to their, correct destinations. However, now at this point, they can actually all kind of overlap on top of each other. And you see that just by doing that, we got our 60 frames a second back. We're up to 40,000, up to 40,000 entities at 60 frames a second. So let's push it a little bit. 50K, still around that 60 frames a second mark. 60,000, 70,000. Okay, 70,000, we're around 30 frames a second right now. So again, it's not lagging or anything. It's, really smooth. This probably looks so bad on YouTube right now. I'm sorry because of all the crazy colors and everything going on right now. So let's go ahead. We'll go up to 80,000. See, this is actually still pretty smooth. It is under 30 frames a second, but it is still pretty smooth. Pushed a little bit up to 90,000. Frame rate's not crazy dropping, but it's like, again, it's smooth, but it's not, ideal where we would want it to be. We'll go up to 100,000, get up to that. Again, we still do have our nav mesh enabled. So frame rate is definitely a lot lower here. So we'll go ahead and disable this nav mesh and see kind of where we get to. So 100,000, and look at that, we're at 30 frames a second with 100,000 units. Again, this is with everything disabled, so these entities are all just kind of, wandering around doing their own thing here. Let's see if we can maybe push it a little bit, 125. So yeah, now we're, well under 30 frames a second. So again, I'm just kind of doing a very crude setup here. So this is kind of, what you could expect out of performance right out of the box. Again, this is a very modular solution, so you can do a lot more to kind of, tweak it, make it your own, and do some of your own performance improvements if you need it. So my overall impressions of this asset are very positive. This asset really feels like a native Unity feature. Again, it's super easy to use. It integrates very well with the existing Unity features, such as the AI navigation, as well as the entity component system. Even if you look at the documentation online, it uses the same docfx documentation generator that the regular other Unity packages do. So it kind of has a very similar look and feel. Again, it's really cool that there's, nice little icons on all the different components. So everything, looks clean and professional. Again, like I said, the setup was super easy, and I think it does a really good job about providing you a nice base to work off of. when I was using this asset, I didn't really feel like I was locked into, a lot of specific things for development like you do with some other assets. It really felt like, I can use this asset and add more features on top of it and really customize this to my own ability. Also, the code is very clean and easy to understand, easy to work with. I did have to go in there and tweak a couple things to make these demos work, and that was super easy to do. Everything was really easy to understand for me. So that's definitely a very positive thing. I will say that this asset could use some minor improvement in some areas. I mean, not everything is completely perfect out of the box. You'll see that with some of the different avoidance things, some of the entities don't exactly stop when they reach a destination. They kind of still keep moving around when they're like finding that end position that they need to. So that's maybe not the most polished thing that you would want in a complete game, but again, you do kind of have that base to build off of and tweak it to make it your own, so you can kind of add that behavior in. So there's just kind of little things like that here and there. Also, I think the documentation could do a little bit better job about giving you some more information about how things are set up on the ECS side. Also, I would like a little bit more context on some of these samples about what it's kind of trying to showcase and how things are kind of set up, and especially if we do want to continue making this our own, maybe give us some ideas about things that we could add to this and different ways that we might go about doing that. But overall, again, I highly recommend this asset. You can pretty much use this for any game type. I know the kind of obvious one is to use this in a real-time strategy type game, but you could really use this in any type of first-person shooter or anything like that where you're kind of playing around on a map. The one thing that I will say that I haven't really used too much with this asset is the flocking behaviors, so I don't know how well that works for different types of game scenarios and everything like that. But personally, I think this asset is a great deal at the regular price of $40, and might I remind you that this asset is going on a steep discount. It's getting a 70% discount, so it's going to be down to just $12 during that flash deal. So make sure you don't miss that. Mark your calendars for Wednesday the 31st at 8 p.m. Pacific time. It is kind of right at the end of the sale, so I'll do my best to try and remind everybody to go purchase this asset, because I definitely think it is totally worth it, and I really hope that we all can support awesome DOTS developers creating awesome tools for us that work really well. So anyways, let me know what you think of this asset down in the comment section below. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one.